What is up? What is up? Today we're going to be going over something that dropped yesterday. So Tradeify announced some new rule changes after January 7th. So that's when these rules will go into place, and they will only be effective on new sim fund straight to sim funded accounts purchased on or after January 7th. So we can see that here. It says effective January 7th, and these updates will come into effect on James for new account purchases only. There's a lot of things here, but ultimately I think Tradeify is trying to make sure that they don't go down and to try to do everything they can to make sure that the business is prosperous for a long time for both the traders and of course the founders and their team. So let's go ahead and get into the new rules. There's going to be no more 5-day profit target. I don't really see who this really affects because I think for the most part everybody was hitting the 5-day profit target when they requested a payout. And unless you're going for really small targets a day, like maybe $50 a day, um, I guess this was just good for you because now you don't have to worry about that. But yeah. Um, And now they're introducing profit goals between payouts. This one is interesting, but I also kind of understand it. So it says we are introducing profit goals between payout requests. After you receive your first payout, you will need to achieve a minimum profit before being eligible to request your next consecutive payout. I mean, this makes sense. This is to prevent what we have coined the term sim farmers to make sure traders are aiming for the full goal of being moved to live with 5% or more of their account balance after 4 payouts instead of milking a built up first balance. These profit goals are, as stated, 1.5, 3, 6, and 9,000 for the first payout. This makes sense. This is the balance that you need to hit in order to request your first payout. Next profit goal, second payout, is 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and 4,500. Makes sense. I say this makes sense because after you withdraw your 3,000, say for the 150K account, right, you would need to make at least 3,000 back in order to request it again. Um, which makes is what like I think a normal trader would do, right? You size down since you have less drawdown now, and you'll just get back to the 9,000. But now they're saying you need 4,500, basically that and 1,500 on top of it. I think this is fine, honestly. It's just like a little bit extra, and if you're aiming for 3,000 to get a payout anyways, this is like say you're making $300 a day for 10 days, it's just an extra $150 a day or an extra 5 days of trading, right? Um, Depends on how you trade. Um, but I can understand. And then after that, you're pretty much free to just make the bare minimum every single time. So once you have this, you'll draw 3,000. You make this, you'll be at what, 10.5, and then basically they're ensuring that you can take out $3,000 as many times as you want until you move to live. And when you do move to live, you'll have 7,500 from that account into your live account, which is pretty good. I think that should be everyone's goal anyways, just because yeah, I mean you're kind of trying to ensure that you have a sufficient buffer anyways. And when you're trading with Tradeify, they say from the start that their goal is to move you to a live account, right? So you would essentially, of course, you want to get as many payouts as you can, uh, but you also want to make sure that when you move to a live account, you're not trading with like $500, right? New end of day trailing drawdown limits. This one kind of sucks. But pretty much they are going down from 5% to 4% of the total account size. I think for most people, this is going to hurt a lot, especially given that the daily loss limit, I think for the 150K account is 37.5. 6,000 won't even give you 2 days of daily loss limit. Not saying you should daily loss limit 2 days in a row, but um, it definitely doesn't get. I guess the old model, when you hit it twice, your account was liquidated anyways. But now, yeah, I mean, if you're trading according to your risk and proper risk, you wouldn't be risking very much per trade anyways. I think proper risk management, your risk with a 150K account and 7,500 drawdown, you should be risking like $75 a trade, which I mean is unrealistic, but not unrealistic, but unrealistic in terms of like if you want to get a payout, If you were saying risking 1 to 1 or 1 to 2, $150 a day, and you need to make 9,000, I think you're gunning for 60 days of not a single loss and making $150, which is, I mean, for some people that'll work, but that is a lot of time investment, right? This one is also pretty big. They're going to be limiting the number of the maximum number of accounts you can have to 5. So this was the original max account limit, and then they bumped it up to 7, and now they're going back down to 5. And I think, I mean, it just makes sense. Um, you know, I think people they realize that good traders will have the maximum number of accounts and pretty much request the max every single time. And I think this is just to limit their risk. I don't see an issue with it. 5 accounts, 7 accounts, kind of the same thing. If you really want to trade extra accounts, you can just diversify with different prop firms, and it's more or less the same thing. Um, but it's nice because if you already have 7 accounts, they're not just going to remove 2 accounts from your dashboard. They'll actually just let you continue trading with 7 until you either blow those accounts or get moved to a live account, which I think is, the way that Tradeify is going about these rule changes isn't like, here's new rules, everybody who isn't following this is going to get shifted. It's like, here's the new rules, you're good to stick with the old rules until something happens, and then if you decide to get new accounts or whatever, then these new rules apply to you, right? I think is the best way to do it, whereas a lot of firms have been retroactively fitting their rules. And this is probably the one that I'm most excited about, is that they'll have more payout windows. So I think every 10 days now, which is honestly perfect for me. I see myself trading with Tradeify for a really long time, and now even more. But originally, why it's harder for me is because I have such a different schedule where I basically only get to trade 2 or 3 days of the week. So my total number of trading days a month is 10, right? And if you have a holiday or whatever, that goes down or up depending on where that holiday lands. So having a more flexible payout window means that I can, request and then get right back into trading. But I think for the most part, most of the time anyways, it's like, oh, I'll trade, get to payout, stop trading on the account, request that payout, get it paid out, and then continue trading. But if I have to wait like 7 days to get to that next payout window, it's, that's 7 days and I'm not trading on that account. Overall, I think, these rule changes are fine. I think for the most part of anything, the biggest thing for me here is the maximum drawdown limits on the straight to funded accounts. Given all like the new rules on them, I feel like if something were to happen, I would just go with the advanced or growth accounts and just try to pass evals. Even though it's tough, a lot tougher, I think it would be the smarter play for me. But yeah, that is all I wanted to go over today. Let me know what you think about these new rule changes down below, and of course, if you guys are already thinking about getting an account with Tradeify and you want to support the channel, I have an affiliate link down below where I will directly benefit from you purchasing an account, and you'll be supporting the channel. Again, I'm not telling you to buy an account. I'm just saying that if you are and you want to support the channel, that is something you can do. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Peace.